So in this segment, we're going to be talking about Boris Johnson, talking about the apparent moral duty to get all children back in schools. So there is a moral duty to get children back in school. So you see what Boris Johnson's doing here straight off the bat is appealing to emotion. So that's a very weak ploy. Straight off the bat, moral obligation. Boris Johnson said, so writing in the Sunday Mail is a national priority after months without in-person education during the coronavirus pandemic. Government advisors had warned of risks in plans to open up society. Jeff Barton, head of the Association of School and Colleges Union, said schools should have high priority right from the beginning. The Prime Minister's understood to make it clear, have made clear that schools should be the last shutting sector in any future lockdowns. A Downing Street source said Mr. Johnson believes the harm being done to children's educational prospects and mental health by not attending school is far more damaging than the risk posed them by the virus. With that, he could be right on, but the fact is, if children catch it and they spread it to their parents, then you've got further problems. The source said, in the event of future stricter lockdowns, the Prime Minister's expectations was that schools would be the last sector to be closed off after businesses like shops and pubs. Schools across the UK closed on the 20th of March, except to children of key workers or vulnerable children. On the 1st of June, they began a limited reopening for early years pupils receptions year 1 and year 6. The plan is for most children across the country to be back in class by next month. Guidance on reopening has been published for England. There is also separate plans for Wales, Northern Ireland and also Scotland, where schools are scheduled to return from Tuesday. In this article, Mr. Johnson said the pandemic isn't over and the last thing any of us can afford is to become complacent, but now we know enough to reopen schools to all pupils safely, and we have a moral duty to do so. The Prime Minister also warned about the spiral. This is where he the mask slips a bit. The spiraling economic costs of parents and carers being unable to work. This idiot, this guy, he shouldn't have mentioned it, because this is the mask off here. This is the reason why he wants kids to go back to school. It's not for altruistic reasons, because he cares about kids. Because truth be told, he's going to be Prime Minister for, even if he does win another election, I don't think he'll run. I don't think he'll run for a hat trick. So he'll be in charge till say 2030, right? That's scary. And these kids will be leaving school age by then. And they won't vote for him because he won't be in office. He had to keeping schools closed a moment longer than absolutely necessary is socially intolerable, economically unstable, unsustainable, and morally indefensible. So this is great mask off here, and it's just a bit embarrassing, really, that he's trying to use the economic argument when the whole reason why we're in such a hole is because this guy wanted to put the economy ahead of people. And once he did that, he realised, oh no, I've messed up, we have to lock everything down. And had we been more intelligent and actually, tested and things like that, then we'd be in a much better position to reopen schools, as, a country like Germany has. So I don't think there's much more important in this article. The Prime Minister's comments have been welcomed by some parents whose children have been out of the classroom several months. Claire, who lives in Bristol with her 2 children, one in year 8 and one in year 10, said they desperately wanted schools to reopen in summer. Reopen in September, sorry. I'm so proud of the way both my children coped with homeschool. They were up at 8 a.m. Every day, complete almost everything that was set. However, towards the end of their enthusiasm was waning, and they were looking forward to returning, she told BBC. They need that teacher and pupil interaction to keep them motivated. School Minister Nick Gibb said this week that the government could not decree that classroom education would be prioritised, as decisions had to be made by local health chiefs, which is the right decision. However, he told BBC all children in England would be returning to school next month, including in those areas currently affected by local lockdowns amid a spike in cases. Those include Preston. So Preston's recently gone into lockdown, Greater Manchester, Leicester and parts of East Lancashire and West Yorkshire, where measures focusing on restricting social interactions between houses have been put in place. And so if we actually look at this article from the BBC, where it talks about as far as we know of when this video has been recorded and children are less likely to spread it. So more children, there it is. They assume children, so this is from the University College of London and London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine. They said that children, where is it gone? they assumed children were half as infectious as adults, but they also used computer models to say that how more parents returning to work or resuming other activities would affect the spread of the virus. And so children are half as likely to spread the virus, which is great because children are safer at least. Especially because they have a weaker immune system than fully grown adults, unless you're an older person or you have underlying health conditions. But at the same time, when you go to pick up your kids from school, that's where you can run into problems. How do you do that? I think the best way to do that is open the schools partially. Do different leaving times for kids. So say 3:15 is the usual time, I think, when schools close. So you could do, for say year 6 you do 3:15. For year 5 you can do 3:10, 3:05, 3 o'clock, 2:55, or you can do 10-minute increments, like bigger ones, I suppose. I'm not sure, but what we can read from this is that what this article doesn't say is what Boris Johnson plans to do to stop this. Is he gonna make the classrooms? What's he gonna do? How socially distanced our kids gonna have to be in school? Because realistically, this Conservative government has decimated schools with cuts of budgets, cuts to things like renovations and things like that. What are you going to do to help these classrooms out? There's a shortage of teachers in schools. What are you going to do to help that? Because this, you've left it very late in the day, and this is what happens when you have severe budget cuts to things like schools, to hospitals. When a crisis happens, you're completely unprepared. And so Bojo makes the moral argument for kids to go back to school, and then he makes the economic argument, because that's what this is really about. He's desperate for the economy to recover. He's desperate for kids to go to school so their parents can get back to work. That's the top and bottom of it. So the moral duty here, he's trying to make for kids to go back to school, is non-existent. He just wants the economy to open back up. And the irony of you can see how ironic the government is by pushing this help out, eat out to help out scheme, where they want people to go into restaurants, but you can't go see your family. In some places, Preston, Greater Manchester, you can't go see your family. You can go to a restaurant with your family. If they're in the same bubble, who's going to regulate that? Because this whole lockdown thing has been made into a joke by Big Dom going to Durham Dom. And, this is just not working at the moment. Everything's so confused, everything's muddled by the government. The fact that they reopened pubs before schools, what a joke decision. Like, they should have done more to help out businesses so they can stay closed and be sustainable. Look, I'm going to leave it there. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think that Boris Johnson is, because there is a moral argument for kids, that need further help, but if we had more teachers that would help with the online stuff, the fact that kids don't have access to the internet because their parents are so poor they can't afford broadband, let alone a laptop. So, it's a horrible situation to be in all round. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.